Hi, hello, I'm Sam Harrison. I read, review and discuss fantasy and science fiction books, and today we have got the Friday show. So every single Friday I sit down with you, my lovely viewers, and talk about what I have read this week, what I'm reading next week, videos that I've made this week and videos I'm making next week. It's a pretty simple formula that I think works very well, and I genuinely have a lot of fun making. This is probably my favourite video of the week to do. Or at least regular videos. I do tend to enjoy the discussion view and interview style videos a lot because I just like talking to people, but I'm more than happy to talk to you today. So what have I been reading this week? I have been reading Deadhouse Gates. You can't tell what book it is from the front because it's just like a cave sort of thing. This is the Broken Binding edition. I have enjoyed Deadhouse Gates more so far than Gardens of the Moon. It's a really interesting book, and I talked a little bit about it to Matt when we were doing our spoiler discussion for Gardens of the Moon last night. And I was saying that I'm kind of waiting for a bit more of a plot and a bit more of a direction from this book. I feel like where I am now, so I'm right in the middle of chapter 5. I had to put it down in the middle of a chapter last night to do my chat with Matt, and then by the time that was over, it's too late for me to read and be able to make sense of things. So, yeah, I'm at the end of book 1 of this book, and I'll likely finish chapter 5 in a few minutes, and then after that I will read chapter 6 sometime later today. My schedule has completely gone awry, but I have been making really good progress every day. So I originally had this schedule mapped out where I was like, I'm going to read one chapter in the morning with my morning coffee, and I'm going to read one chapter in the evening after the kids go to bed. And I've just had a lot of stuff on, and I've ended up most days this week just starting work early instead of reading anything. So I've read at least a chapter a day, but not enough, I guess. Well, I kind of read a chapter a day because I'm only on chapter 5. I've read some every day. We'll talk about that. So yeah, I'm really liking the new some of the new characters that we've been introduced to. Felicin in particular, I really like. I know she's not new, but I do like her, and I like kind of what's going on with her. Well, I don't like what's going on with her, but I think that the storyline that she is in is the most interesting one so far. And it's great. It's really funny because I was told to expect this book is all new characters in an all new location, and a lot of the characters from Gardens of the Moon are in this book. So anyway, whatever the case may be in terms of new characters, new location, blah blah blah, we are in new places, but a lot of the characters are ones I'm familiar with, and I'm enjoying that so far. There's one. I feel like we've kind of got 4 plot threads going on, and there's one of them that I don't understand, and that I'm not really sure what's going on. And when that one comes up, I do tend to be like, oof, bro, I'm going a bit smooth brain for those sections. I feel like I'm going to maybe start referring to stuff as this is the reread sections of this book. But the Felicin stuff is great. The Fiddler stuff is great. The Kalam stuff is really good and interesting. The thing that I want is, as I think I've talked about this quite a bit, but I would just like a little bit of direction. I'd like a plot. Because while we have it's not that all the characters need to be working towards the same goal, but I would like to see the goals they're working towards. They know, but I would like to know. And we do get narration. We get narration from inside their heads. We get discussions where things are explained. I'm not like, I'm not where I'm saying, I'm not one of those people who's saying like, oh, it's so confusing, I don't understand it. Like, well, yes, there is one bit that I'm like a bit confused on. I think it's mostly because I read the first bit of that story while a bit tired. I don't think I really took it in. But maybe I'll go back and reread that. Anyway, yeah, it's not that I think it's confusing. It's more that I just want a bit more of a direction. It feels very unfocused. I'm only in the first book of however many, the first, like, I don't think I'm even at 30% yet. So, I'm not judging this book prematurely. I'm more going like, this is what I want to see, and we'll go from there. I mean, a lot of you may be concerned. My opinion on Gardens of the Moon was overall middle of the road, and this one, while I do think is currently an improvement, I'm still, like I said, still waiting for that plot to start up. And a lot of you may be concerned, like, oh, Sam, are you going to stop reading Malazan? I will confirm that I will at least be reading the first 3 books. So I'm going to finish this one, and then in, I believe January is when we're due to read Memories of Ice. Yeah, I'll be reading Memories of Ice in January. So don't worry, we're still going. When I have not been anywhere near my physical copy, I have been using the ebook, and I've read a decent chunk of the ebook while putting the kids to sleep and stuff. The big thing that I have been doing at the same time, though, is listening to the audio book for the Bedlam Bride. I think it's the Eye of the Bedlam Bride, whatever Dungeon Crawler Carl Book 6 is called. So I am a huge chunk of the way into this book because I've had a lot of audio time, but not a lot of eyeball time. Is every minute you're awake eyeball time? So I've had a lot of eyeball time, I guess, but not enough eyeball reading time. So I have managed to read a huge chunk of Dungeon Crawler Carl Book 6, and I am really liking this one. This is the best one in ages, probably the best since the first book. We are having really interesting development in the macro story of the dungeon overall. We're being introduced into more important characters from outside of the game. The actual story of the level is interesting and well done, but I think that by setting this level in kind of an Earth facsimile, Matt Dinniman has taken that shorthand that a lot of urban fantasy takes, where it's like, I don't have to describe every single thing to you because I'm just in the world. So that has been really good. And I feel like by being able to sidestep some of the more like sci-fi depth stuff that he would normally go into, and the like crazy over the top world building, Matt Dinniman has been able to focus a lot more on the characters and on what's going on, and that's been just really, really good. I am really liking the storyline with the storyline with that is kind of in the like back room of the Desperado Club, not to go too deep into and spoil stuff. I don't know when it comes up in previous books. So yeah, that's really, really enjoyable. I'm having a lot of fun with this one. The previous few Carl books, I have noticed that when Matt Dinniman is going deep in on the lit RPG stuff, my brain is kind of like tuning out, and I've had to like reread passages, or well, re-listen to passages, because I've been listening to these books via audio, and it's really nice to get to a book where it's really fully gripping me and holding my attention all the time. So yeah, that's been a real success. It's also really interestingly quite an opposing story to Malazan, because Malazan is obviously very like dour and very serious and very dramatic, and then Dungeon Crawler Carl is very dramatic but also very, very silly. We have a gun-toting Jesus. We have like capoeira seals, and there's a lot. There's a big story plot point revolving around crab semen, so it's a fun book. It's it's not suitable for kids, most definitely, but yeah, it's a fun book, and I've been really enjoying it. I especially enjoyed the bit with the slugs that popped out of Carl and then started shouting like offensive stuff and trying to bite him. Like, that was very silly and very well thought through and fun. I had a lot of fun with that one. So yeah, really enjoying Dungeon Crawler Carl. My next audio experience after Eye the Bedlam Bride, I think it's Eye the Bedlam Bride, will have to be another non-epic fantasy. So I'm trying to keep my Malazan read and which is exclusively eyeball reading, and my audio read as to very, very separate types of storytelling. So that's why I picked Dungeon Crawler Carl, because that's a sci-fi, and then I'm hoping to pick something else that's very opposed. So it's either going to be something else kind of light-hearted and fun and kind of tonally different, whilst also not being epic fantasy, or I'll pick something more sci-fi-y. I think the two sci-fi series that I want to catch up on, which is Sun Eater and Red Rising, both of those series are quite they're quite dour and serious as well. So there is a part of me that's like, actually, maybe I won't read sci-fi. Maybe I'll move over to urban fantasy. And in urban fantasy, I have the next Adair Finch novel by Shamie Stovall. So I really, really enjoyed Time Marked Warlock earlier this year. It's another Jeff Hayes audiobook, so that will be fun. So I'll probably read that next. The only caveat to reading the next Time Marked Warlock book is what my next eyeball read is, and I hope you're as excited for me as I am, because my next eyeball read is 12 Months by Jim Butcher. I have been sent an early review copy. I've been sent an ebook, an e-arc from just got it from NetGalley. But I have been in touch with the publisher and have requested a physical arc, because the Dresden Files is top 3 series of all time for me. And while, I know I'm only a small creator, I'm a big fan of the series, so I do hope that I get one sent through. I'm not crossing my fingers, but it would be lovely to have one to read. But I'm not going to be reading that until after I've read Malazan, and obviously I'm like maybe 20% of the way through this book so far. Anyway, so yeah, 12 months. A big departure for Jim with the format of this one. So for those unaware, Dresden Files books are meant to be the worst week of Harry's year, and each book takes place one per year. So you'll find things like, you can look back and go, well, each book takes place every year, so this book was a year ago, that book was 2 years ago, etc., etc. But 12 Months is set basically directly after the finale of Battleground, and is then taking place over the full year between the end of Battleground and a significant event that was teased in Battleground, or like said to be happening at the end of Battleground. I really, really want to see the state of the world where we're at in Battleground, because of, you know, the way that book completely changes everything for the world of Dresden. It's a huge change for the character, and probably more for the world than for the character. But yeah, really, really, really excited to see where we go in this book. And yeah, I'll be reading that next. Because that one is a audio, oh, not an audio, sorry, a eyeball only read. It's only available to me via ebook. I will probably, do you know what? I don't even know if I will bother picking another audio only read, simply because I imagine I'll finish 12 months in about a day or two. Most Dresden Files books, I think the longest a Dresden Files book took me was 3 days across the entire series of 18 books. They're absolute bangers. I love them. I do need to read the novella The Law, which I believe is set after Battlegrounds. I think that the audiobook might be on one of the subscription services, so I'll probably hunt that one down. Maybe I will read Dungeon Crawler Carl, then I'll read The Law, then that'll have me ready to read 12 months. And if I need another book after The Law, then we'll have to think of something. I want to make sure that, like I was saying, I'm not reading a story via audio that is going to interfere with Deadhouse Gates. Maybe I'll have finished Deadhouse Gates by the time I finish Dungeon Crawler Carl and The Law. Unlikely, but maybe I will. And I'm trying to think of what else I could even read audio only. There are a few books on the shelf I'm excited to read. But I guess we'll have to see when we see. Videos wise, this week you guys saw my Strength of the Few review. I'm interested to see some more comments and more discussion on that one. Not many people watched it for a new release, which is a bit of a surprise. I guess I probably should have read it earlier and released my version earlier, but c'est la vie. And that will be, yeah, so that one you can watch already right now. Monday would normally have been the review for Deadhouse Gates, but I'm obviously not finished. So Monday is going to be one of two things. So Monday will either be my Malazan Gardens of the Moon spoiler discussion, or it will be my monthly wrap-up for November, because I'll be honest with you, I've just realised I haven't done one, or it will be a review of Dungeon Crawler Carl Book 6. If I can finish Book 6 in time, it'll be that. I'm not rushing through the book at all, but I do have I've got a long run on Sunday, which I'll be listening to the book for the whole of, and you know, so there's quite a lot going on in terms of audiobook time for me over the next few days. So other than that, yeah, so Monday will probably be Dungeon Crawler Carl Book 6 review. Then I might save Gardens of the Moon spoiler discussion. So I've already recorded it. The editing for these ones is pretty simple, because Google, we use Google Meet to record it, and Google Meet will do most of the editing for me. So yeah, I'm just trying to think. I don't think there's anything else to go out video wise. I do need to do that November recap, although I only read 2 books, so like, whoops. Yeah, we'll talk about the November stuff later. Is it worth me doing a November wrap-up? Say down below in the comments. You know, I think I've only got 2 or 3 books. I mean, there are some books that I started but didn't finish in November, and some books that I started in October that I finished in November that I could discuss. So let me know what your thoughts are, whether you'd be interested in seeing a November wrap up. I won't do one if people don't say they're interested. That makes sense. And then you can have the Gardens of the Moon spoiler discussion on Wednesday. The only reason I'm thinking of not doing that thingamajig is because I'm thinking, well, if I do the Gardens of the Moon spoiler cast the following Wednesday, then it will be 2 Malazan videos in the same week, which seems a bit odd. I do want to start doing my 2026 content. So you guys are going to start seeing over November things that I want to talk about. So we'll be talking about the new release books that I want to read in 2026. We'll be talking about my goals for reading in 2026, goals for the channel in 2026, and we'll also be talking a bit about some ideas and changes that I've had for the kind of changes and ideas for the channel that I'm going to trial next year. And then finally, you will get my top 10 books of 2025. So I hope you're excited for that. Last year I debuted that on Christmas Day, my top 10 books of 2024. I don't know whether I'll do that again this year. I need to look at the calendar and see what days my videos would normally fall. It'll probably be either the last Wednesday of 2025 or the last Monday of 2025. It'll be depending on that, because I want to make sure if I'm like, also, I'll say now, it will depend if I'm reading a fantastic book. Like if I'm reading an absolute banger and I want to hold it and maybe do like first week of January for my 2025 top 10, I might do that. And then the other thing I was going to say is in January, I'm going to start doing this annually. I'm going to be updating you guys on my top 10 fantasy series of all time. So even if that is the exact same list as the previous year, I want to talk through my thoughts and feelings on those books with some distance. And I mean, I've now finished Wheel of Time, so that is probably going to change the ranking quite a bit. So hold on to your hats. That will be in January. I don't know when in January, but I'm going to be making that now as an annual tradition. Every single year, every January, there'll be a top 10 fantasy series update. So look forward to that. That's everything from me so far today. I hope that you have enjoyed this week's episode. Please let me know what you are up to, what you've been reading, what you've been listening to, what you've been playing and watching. Drop down in the comments below and let's have a chat. Like this video if you would like to tell YouTube that you liked it, so it'll show it to more people. Share it with your friends. Click that share button. Copy the link. You don't even need to do anything with it. Just copy the link. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Hype the video if you can. I don't know what it does, but keep seeing videos in the most hyped and they look fun. So please hype my videos. And I will speak to you on Monday. Thanks everyone. Goodbye.